This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Keep your mind going in the right direction and your life will catch up with it. Joyce Meyer. The way that you think impacts every area of your life. In this video, I am going to share 5 thinking habits that will impact the way that you think about your problems, about your goals, and about your struggles, and change the way that you live for the better. These are thinking habits that have helped me to become more capable, more productive, and to do more impactful stuff. Number 1, remember to answer yourself. Matthew McConaughey said in a Tim Ferriss podcast, if all we are doing is asking ourselves questions, but we never come up with an answer, well, that can lead to some very imbalanced insanity at times. Pay attention to the questions that come up in your mind, the questions that you ask yourself, and instead of just ignoring those questions or letting those questions stress you out, actually follow through and answer those questions. If you are asking yourself, why am I so anxious all the time, pay attention to that question and actually sit down and think on it. Then once you've answered that first question, let it lead to even better internal questions like, how do I go about reducing that anxiety in my life? What are the little steps that I could take to make my mind a more peaceful place? If you are in a time of struggle and you're constantly asking yourself questions, but you're never actually giving yourself any answers, giving yourself the space to sit on those questions and think them through, you're going to find yourself stuck in a rut. Force yourself to sit with uncomfortable questions and actually answer them, and then move on to the next question that your mind brings up. You can do this in the form of journaling on paper or digitally. When I am feeling at my healthiest self, I like to sit down and meditate on those types of questions. If you want to listen to that podcast with Tim Ferriss and Matthew McConaughey, I'm going to have it linked down in the description below. Number 2, think of self-care activities the same way that you think of nootropics. People will pay top dollar for supplements that will enhance their mood, increase their energy, give them clarity and focus, and they are religious about taking these kind of supplements on a daily basis. They won't skip their lion's mane with their breakfast, and some of these nootropics can be really helpful. But getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time, getting some movement in your days, getting connection in your life, those are like the most potent nootropics that one could ever come across. They are far more powerful than any supplement. If you're struggling to prioritize health and wellness, maybe you put work first and self-care second, then try thinking of all of those self-care activities as nootropics. It's a bit of a clinical way to think of these activities, but it's effective. If you're a type A personality, you have a big workload, maybe you're a high achiever, and you always find yourself thinking, well, maybe I'll get to exercise, sleep, connection after I get all my work done, but never actually get around to those self-care activities, this can be a helpful form of thinking. A well-planned vacation is a nootropic that has a 94% chance of increasing your happiness and energy levels, according to a study of 400 travelers. Sleeping longer is a nootropic that gives you a longer lifespan, reduces your chance of Alzheimer's, and helps you to learn better, according to Professor Matthew Walker, the author of Why We Sleep. Investing in the quality of your relationships and spending time with the people that you love is a nootropic that will increase your health and happiness more than any other factor, according to one of the longest running studies in history of more than 1,300 people. To be more productive, to grow, to be successful, to be happy, and to lead a good life, you need to be putting these self-care activities first. When you sit down to plan out your week, try prioritizing scheduling in connection and scheduling in those self-care activities that will enhance your life first. Live life first, then work second. Another self-care activity is learning. According to the author of The Brain That Changes Itself, if you keep on learning, no matter how old you are, you will retain the ability to learn. If you stop learning, you'll lose that ability along with everything else that it enables. So learning really is a maintenance nootropic that everyone should be doing on a regular basis. And one way that you can do that is through a platform like Skillshare. As a present, my sister recently got me a watercolor book and paints. We sat down, we took a Skillshare class called Easy Watercolor Sweets and Treats Step-by-Step Beginner Level at the start of the year. I painted a watermelon and I painted something that looked kind of like a donut. And the whole experience just made me so happy. Skillshare has thousands of classes along those lines and along a lot of different other lines. I actually have my own class on there if you're more interested in self-development. It's called Designing the Life That You Want. For 4 exercises for clarity and motivation. Over 15,000 people have taken this course and it's had some really amazing and positive reviews. If you haven't gotten to it yet, I basically guide you through some of my favorite, most impactful, life-enhancing activities that you can do to give you clarity and direction, as well as a little bit of motivation. These are activities that I like to go back to semi-regularly. Skillshare has genuinely thousands of inspiring classes on things like productivity, time management, photography, journaling, and way more for people like you, the creative and the curious. It is a learning community where you get to explore your new skills. So my sister is currently using it to learn InDesign, or if you have interests that already exist, you can deepen your understanding. So for example, a lot of you guys like productivity focused content, and there is a lot of that on Skillshare that goes very in depth, and you can use Skillshare to get lost in creativity. There are so many different classes designed for real life circumstances, real projects to create, and you get the support of other creatives. Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth. You can complete the lessons on Skillshare to stay inspired, express yourself, and introduce yourself to a community of millions. It's curated specifically for learning, so there are no ads, and they are always launching new premium classes so that you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And it is less than $10 a month for an annual subscription. At a time where so many important conversations are happening in our world, your voice is more essential than ever. Explore classes to unlock your creativity for social good. The first 1,000 people to use my link down in the description below will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Click on the link below to join Skillshare. Struggle is part of the process. I recently put up this post on my LifeMap Collective Instagram, which is my planner brand where I sell planners that level up your life. And this post said, struggle is part of the process. This is something that I believe if everyone embedded in their brain would make the world a much better and more self-compassionate place. The phrase struggle is part of the process. It's an acknowledgement that no matter what changes you're trying to make, for example, getting your license, starting a meditation habit, starting an exercise habit, that struggle is always going to be there and that it's normal. No matter who you are as a person, how much discipline you might have, what you are trying to achieve, there's always going to be struggle. It is normal to start on a high and write for 1 week straight and then maybe have a dip in motivation. It's normal to start working out at home every day because you see someone doing it online, and then after a few days finding yourself waning and maybe not doing it as much anymore. I'm not saying that you should just accept defeat whenever you come across a struggle. I'm just saying that when it comes along, you should recognize it as a very normal thing that everyone goes through. When we normalize struggling to achieve goals and struggling to change behavior, it makes it so that we can move past it with more ease. When you start to think that struggling to change behavior or struggling to achieve your goals is this abnormal thing, and that when you are struggling with those changes that you are abnormal, it makes it a lot harder to keep on moving forward. You lean more towards beating yourself up and feeling bad about not being able to make the change versus accepting the normalcy of that struggle and trying to think of ways to keep yourself motivated, ways to change what you're doing to make things easier, and ways that you can stick to whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. Struggle is part of the process. Relapses, if you will, are very, very normal in all kinds of behavior change. Normalize with yourself struggling to change your behavior. That way you can move forward quickly. Set want to, not have to goals. If you go to the gym because you feel like you should, you feel like you have to, not because you want to, despite the fact that you hate stock standard gym workouts, you're probably not going to keep that habit up. If you're writing content because you feel like you're expected to, not because you actually enjoy doing it, you're going to create bad work and you're also going to struggle with that habit. Instead of trying to pursue these goals that we feel like we should be pursuing, think about what you actually want to be pursuing. There are many different paths to often get to the same goal. You don't have to follow the same path that everyone else has followed. For example, when it comes to working out, you are more likely to do an activity that you enjoy. If that looks like Zumba or regular daily walks or rock climbing, but it doesn't look like going to the gym and doing a stock standard workout, that's perfectly okay. A few helpful prompts to consider when you are pursuing your goals are the questions: if no one knew that I did this, would I still want to do it? If I knew that I would fail, would I still want to do this? And am I doing this because it looks good or because it feels good? You're more likely to pursue a goal which has a process that you enjoy doing doing, rather than a process that you dread doing. Stop treating tasks equally. Often, when you make a traditional to-do list without using any prioritization frameworks, you give all of the tasks that you write down equal importance in your mind. Uploading on Instagram becomes just as important as creating a content creation strategy. Creating a new revenue source is just as important as answering all of your emails. If every day you prioritize one important, impactful thing, at the end of the year, you will have achieved 365 important, impactful things. If you just prioritize even 3 important, impactful things that you do every single week that move you further towards your goals, that's 156 moves that you are going to make towards your goals by the end of the year. Don't create to-do lists without weighting them and without considering whether what you are pursuing is significant. One way that you can figure out how you are weighting all of your to-dos, where you are actually spending your time, whether it's on the significant or the insignificant, is by tracking your time. I've been using the app called A Tracker. You can actually create categories and you can color code them so you can identify anything that is a non-significant task as a red color. You can identify all the things that are long-term impactful as a green task. By time tracking your week, you'll start to see a strong visual representation of where you are spending your time. It'll show you whether you are spending your time in impactful ways that are going to affect your life in 3 years' time, or whether you are spending all of your time on the little tasks, the busy tasks. Tasks are not created equally and we shouldn't be prioritizing them equally. When I am prioritizing my day in my Life Map Collective daily planner, in my head I ask myself, what is the most significant thing that I can work on today? The thing that is going to have a longer term impact. And that's what I like to spend my most important time in the morning doing. If you do want to join Skillshare to level up your learning, use the link down in the description below to get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. If you liked this video, I have a whole playlist full of mindset videos of little mindset shifts that you can make in your life that will improve your life. That will be linked on the screen as well as down below. It starts with a video called How to Upgrade Your Life Times 20 that you guys really liked. I'm gonna have that linked on the screen as well as down below. I appreciate you so much and I will see you soon.